Hi, it's Leanne from Newcastle Libraries and I'm here today with a fairy tale for you. I'm going to read Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time there was a lovely little girl who wore a lovely little red velvet cape. Her name was Little Red Riding Hood. One day Little Red Riding Hood was playing in the garden when her mummy shouted to her, "Oh, Little Red Riding Hood, your poor granny is sick and so I have baked her some cakes to cheer her up. Will you please take them to her?" Little Red Riding Hood was delighted to get such an important task. "Of course, Mamma, I will go straight away." "Good girl," said her mummy. "You can take the path straight through the woods, but remember, dear, stay on the path and travel straight there." Little Red Riding Hood, who was very brave and very sensible, promised her mummy that she would be very careful, and so she set off on the path straight to Granny's house. It was a beautiful, bright, sunny day, and Little Red was having such a lovely time skipping in the sunshine that she didn't notice something watching her from behind a big tree trunk. She got quite a shock when that same something jumped straight out onto the path in front of her. It was a wolf. "Oh," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Excuse me, Mr. Wolf. I am on my way to Granny's house and I really can't stop." She continued on her way, but the wolf carried on beside her. He seemed quite a friendly creature, so Little Red didn't mind too much. What she didn't know, however, was that this wolf was actually quite a wicked wolf, and when he had seen Little Red skipping through the woods, he had decided he was going to eat her up. "What do you have there in that basket?" he asked the little girl. "Oh, well, my poor granny is sick, and so I am taking her some cakes." "Oh, what a kind girl you must be," said the wolf. "Does your granny live very far?" "Not very. She just lives in the little cottage at the end of the woods." Well, the wolf knew the little cottage, and as Little Red was talking, he had an excellent idea. He was going to eat Little Red and her granny together. Oh dear, and this wolf was so very cunning that he immediately thought up a plan. "Little Red Riding Hood," he said, "have you seen the beautiful flowers just over there behind those trees? I think your granny would be so cheered up by those." "You are right, Mr. Wolf. How clever you are. I'm sure Mummy wouldn't mind me leaving the path just this once to collect some flowers." And with that, Little Red Riding Hood headed deeper into the woods to collect some flowers of all different colours. And while she was doing so, Mr. Wolf, who really was so very sneaky, ran ahead to Granny's house. Now, it didn't take Little Red too long at all to gather some flowers, and so just a few minutes later she arrived at Granny's house. She gave a gentle knock on the door and then peered in. "Granny, it's me, Little Red. I have come to visit." She received no answer, and so she walked further into the room. Granny was sitting in bed, wearing her nightie and nightcap. But dear me, she did look rather strange. "Granny," Little Red gasped, "what big ears you have!" "All the better to hear you with, my dear," came the reply. Poor Granny, thought Little Red, she doesn't look or sound at all well. "And what big eyes you have, Granny!" "All the better to see you with, my dear," Granny replied. "What big hands you have!" "All the better to hug you with, my dear," said Granny. "And Granny, what an enormous mouth you have!" "All the better to eat you with." Little Red Riding Hood screamed, "Ah!" It wasn't Granny in the bed, it was the wolf. He had tricked her. "Help!" she yelled, "help!" Just as the wolf grabbed Little Red and opened his mouth to swallow her up, there was a big bang. They turned around, and there was the real Granny. The wolf had locked her in the wardrobe, planning to save her for a delicious dessert, but Granny had kicked so hard that she had managed to knock the wardrobe over and escape. Now she picked herself up from the floor, grabbed a broom, and whack! She hit the wolf over the head. He fell to the floor And that was the end of the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood ran to Granny. "Thank you, Granny, thank you. That awful wolf tricked me." They hugged for a long time, and then Granny cut them a slice of chocolate cake each, which made them both feel much better. What an adventure Little Red Riding Hood had had, and she had learned a very important lesson, which is a lesson I hope you'll all listen to as well. Never talk to a wolf in the woods. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. I will be back very soon with another one. Thank you and take care. Bye bye.